Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So have you ever wondered why someone like Barack Obama is considered to be a black man even though he has a white mother? So his mother is a white American while the father is from Kenya. But he's considered to be the first black president of the United States. So why is this the case? So that's exactly what I'm going to be answering in this video. But first of all, make sure you slam on that like button there and also subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Naija Unsealed. Also follow us on Facebook. Anyways, let's get down to work. So now, the reason why this is the case, that is the reason why mixed race people, that is what we call half caste over here in Nigeria, and of course back then in the United States they used to call them mulattoes, why they are referred to as black rather than also being called white, because I mean they're half white and half black. So if you can call them black, generally speaking, you should also be able to call them white. But the reason why that is the case is because of this particular rule, which was like an outgrowth of the racist past of the United States, called one drop rule. That is a single drop. Now, what that thing actually means is that if you have so much as a single ancestor in your lineage, a single ancestor in your ancestry, that the person actually comes from Africa in any way whatsoever, it doesn't even matter. Maybe it's your grandfather that is black, your great-grandfather is black, and all your other ancestors since that time are all white. Since it can be traced that someone in your ancestry is black, then you are considered black. Now, this is a very, very dangerous thing back then, especially when the black people were still under a lot of problems. They're still under a lot of discriminations and everything during the Jim Crow era. Now, the slavery era ended in 1865 after the Civil War in the United States. And then the southern part, the ones that wanted to keep slavery and decided to secede from the Union because they wanted to continue the slavery practice, when they were defeated in 1865 and the black slaves were all freed. Now, after that, the southern states decided that they were not going to allow the black people to have total freedom. They're not going to allow them to have the complete rights that white people had in the South. So they decided to keep them under discrimination and keep them under what you might call segregation. And that was the birth of what we call the Jim Crow laws in the South. So that's basically what happened then. And this thing is an outgrowth of that, in which if you are considered to have any sort of black ancestry, you are considered black. So even if you look as white as possible and you are black, or you have a black ancestor, you are going to be discriminated against, just like the actually black people, that is the actual black people, are being discriminated against. So it is something that was considered very serious back then. And it is actually something that is very, 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 very dangerous for those people, because it could mean a difference between having opportunities to be able to grow and to be able to have a lot of chances at life, to be able to have a lot of chances at opportunities, at getting good education, at being able to get into a team that is maybe a sporting team like the international team or whatever like that. To be able to get into all those things like that, you might have to be white. And if you are a mixed race person, even though you have a parent that is white, you are not going to be seen as a white person. You are going to be seen as a black person and then disenfranchised in the United States back then. So that was basically the thing that was going on at the time. And also, this is also part of the anti-misogyny law back then. And what that means is that is the kind of law that went against people of different races from intermarrying, especially if you're a black man from marrying a white woman, and if you're a white woman from marrying a black man, or like if you're a white man from marrying a black woman, just intermixing of the races. So the white people back then, they were so scared that they did not want their gene pool to be contaminated, in quotes, by the blood of the black race. So they believed that the black race was so inferior that they did not want the gene pool to be contaminated by black people. So they forbade any attempt of anybody from marrying from the black race. If you are a white person and if you're a black person from marrying from the white race, you could actually go to jail back then because of that. It was very, very horrible. So if you are like a product of that kind of union, that union that was against the law, that meant that you are going to be relegated to the position of those in the lower class, that is the people who are black, because they were automatically in the second class citizenship kind of level then. So that was what you are going to be relegated to. And that is the reason. And because most of those mixed race people had to suffer alongside the black people then, it came naturally that black people saw them as brethren. Black people saw them as people that they suffer together with. It's almost like you went to war with your people and you guys fought together. You guys went through the hardship together and all of that. So you are going to feel this sense of camaraderie with them, that we are together. You are with us. We went through this together. We came out of this together. So we are kind of like kinsmen in a way. So that's basically the way the mixed race people are seen. And that is why you would see somebody that is a mixed race calling himself black and identifying almost explicitly with black people rather than the white people. I mean, there's also someone called Colin Kaepernick in the NFL before in the United States. The guy protested and all of those things like that against, injustice and all of those things. The guy is actually half white and half black, but he goes on protesting against the white race in the United States, even though he has part of him being white. So that is basically the reason. It is due to the one-drop rule. Even though that rule is now basically defunct, it has been abandoned for a very long time, for many, many decades ago. But that legacy remains and lingers on, and that is the reason. So that's basically the reason why the case is that half black, half white people are considered black. And that is the reason why you might actually watch a movie and see someone looking like a white person and the person is considered black and called a black man, hanging around with people, making hip-hop music and all of those things, and you're kind of left scratching your head. What's going on? I don't get what is happening here. So that's exactly what it is. Anyway, so the main question I'm going to be asking right now is, should we hold on to that standard that actually stemmed out of what we have agreed is an outgrowth of racism in the American South? Are we supposed to hold on to that kind of standard, or are we supposed to jettison it and allow for a person that is mixed race to be able to choose to be with the white race, with the black race, or maybe with the mixed race community, whatever kind of community you want, and you are not necessarily condemned to be in the white race, in the black race, because you have whatever proportion of your genealogy being black or whatever like that. Because whether you like it or not, it actually looks racist in a way, because it is almost like saying you have been contaminated by the black gene and then you are going to be black. Because, just think about this. It's like saying no matter the gene of anybody or the race of anybody that mixes with black people, you're always going to be black. It doesn't mean that black gene is so potent, is so, it sounds as if the black gene is so destructive that no matter what it touches, it's just going to make that thing black. So it's almost like having poison touching something and that thing becomes poisonous. So that's what it looks like to me. And that is why I do not buy into it necessarily. I would rather want a world where if you are half white, half black, you can be considered white just as much as you can be considered black. Now, let's say that you are maybe 1/8 black. Yeah, I can understand the reason why you should be maybe predominantly considered as white, or if you're 1/8 white, you should be considered predominantly black. But being half and split in the middle and you are considered necessarily black, I don't understand why that should be. So now there are basically two schools of thought on this case. Now, the first one is these mixed people were tormented in the United States back then as black if found out. So black people consider them fellow sufferers, brothers in the struggle. And that's exactly one thing I mentioned earlier. That is the reason why a lot of black people consider mixed race people to be part of them. But also, on the other hand, we have another school of thought, but it is still a racist classification. Just like I said, mixed people are just as white as they are black. And then why not call them white? Why can't we call Barack Obama a white man? Why does he have to be called the first black man? and not somebody that is fully black man to be the first black president. I mean, the first black president, of course. So now that's another thing that is there. I mean, example, like I said, Barack Obama, he's half white. Why can't he be called white? I mean, I understand this thing might seem a little confusing to some people, but that is the reality. That is the reality. So simply because he's not having a complexion as white as a white man means that he is black? Are we sort of saying that our gene is contamination or what? So now, I mean, I'm just saying that it looks a little bit awkward to me. Maybe there's an explanation that is deeper than the ones that I've mentioned that anybody can mention in the comment section. I would like to hear that. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. I'll be seeing you next time. Again, like I said, I'm going to be making a video every single day now, and then at least posting a video every single day. It's not going to be like before, that it's only once in a while. So thank you once again. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. I mean, make sure you follow us on Facebook and also subscribe on YouTube. Like the video, comment, please, and comment. It's really going to help the channel to, upgrade. It's really going to help the channel to grow and